We knew the Friday before the elections that Florida was going to be won by Donald Trump because of mobile polling. And we received a lot of criticism again because people were saying, no, that's not accurate, et cetera, et cetera. Yet we were the only firm before Friday to actually predict the outcome of those elections. The great debate in the U.S. elections is that polls failed. In my view, polls did exactly what they were supposed to do. They predicted the popular vote, which was won by Mrs. Hillary Clinton. However you look at it, right, when polls are meant to measure the popular vote, right, and you have a margin of spread of 4 to 5 points, most polls were within that margin of error. There were some that were way out there, but the majority, especially the more reputable ones, did exactly what they were supposed to do. Now, having said that, there are some peculiarities about polling in the United States. One is what we're calling the shy Trumper vote, right? And this is the person who basically, faced with a live interviewer, right, either on the telephone, usually on the telephone. The shy voter, the shy Trumper, is a person who generally was less educated, right? Who felt embarrassed about admitting that he was going to vote for Trump, and therefore either lied, right, or simply did not answer the question truthfully about voter intention. And therefore, the outcome was, either we missed entirely the shy Trumper, or we ended up measuring very highly in favor of Mrs. Clinton, and we essentially downgraded the level of support that Mr. Trump had. The best predictor of who's going to vote is by somebody who has already voted in the past. So one of our filter questions always is, did you vote in the last elections? If you did, thank you. We will continue with the questions. Otherwise, thank you, and you can go home. So that, what it did is it essentially gave us a set of samples that were heavily biased toward people who had voted. The problem in the U.S. elections this time around is that people who voted, right, it's not that they were new voters, but they might have been people who haven't voted in decades, right? And a lot of new voters, right? A lot of new voters motivated precisely by Mr. Trump. And this contrasts also with something that's really quite significant in terms of the U.S. elections. The African-American voter, for example, who came out in droves in 2012 and in 2008 because of the first African-American president, they essentially stayed home this time around. And that makes for, a very, that could have been the difference in Pennsylvania, for example. Could have been the difference in Florida, right? Where just a small number of voters, of African-American voters that did not show up, made it very complicated. Now, today, online polling is quite interesting because, in essence, you get rid of the human-to-human interaction. And so we assume that by getting rid of the human-to-human interaction, the anonymity sort of engaging online has allowed some pollsters to capture that hidden Trump, that shy Trump vote. And so you'll find some polls, some of the online polls, especially the USC, the University of Southern California, Los Angeles Times poll, which throughout the entire season basically gave Trump the victory, right, was the most accurate. Our experience in the United States tells us, again, polling is moving toward technology. It's moving toward, eliminating that human interaction that makes people be shy about answering truthfully a question, a sensitive kind of question. So I think you need to be very, very careful about missing that hidden vote there.